we just made the kids. You saw that picture there. A sandbox, and it's a large sandbox. It's 10 by 10. And I thought I would have enough of the road fabric left from when we did the driveway, but we didn't. So I gotta run down to Lindenville and pick up, I won't get road fabric because that comes in a giant roll, but I can get some of that like landscape fabric stuff that you'd put in your gardens or stuff like that. So that will at least keep the weeds down a bit. But I'm sure there's going to be two very happy people. It took them about a half hour to build it, and then it was like probably 15 minutes into it, and they realized this looks like a sandbox. And I said, well, what? This would be an awful big sandbox. And they said, yeah, it would be. And I mean, this is part of, it's starting to rain. Coming back here is a lot of not about us. I think that makes sense. Has more to do with kids and grandkids and everything else. I mean, being in a, let's face it, being in a warmer climate for me would surely be wonderful. But I think, for me, there's a time where you just have to say, okay, you've got to be able to, they've done their things, they're still going to do their things on their own, but you could help out a lot, help with the grandkids and be part of their world. And I mean, maybe not everybody thinks that way, I don't know. But that's why it's not super hard to have left Eleuthera because of that. I mean, if I start getting like self-centered, then yeah, it would be, because it's like, it's cold here, this, that, and the other thing. But when you start stepping outside of that and you say, yeah, this move is only partially about us. We still have to make a living and everything, and hopefully coffee and etc. will work out, but there's much more to it, or at least that's how I look at it at this point in my life. All right, I've got the roads. The fabric, it's actually garden fabric, but it'll do the same thing. It'll help keep the weeds out for a while. Should keep them thinned down. Shouldn't be a problem. So that's done. I just went to put on the wipers and use the directional signal. Eventually, I'll get back to used to. And it's not like I didn't drive, here before, but I've just gotten so used to the steering wheel being on the right-hand side, the turn signals on the right-hand side, and I still, if I'm not thinking or concentrating, I forget. Luckily, I'm good with the staying on the right side of the road. That, so far, hasn't been a real issue, but I'll get it eventually. So, I think probably some people would say that what Sid and I are doing is like going a step backwards. Because, we lived in the Bahamas, we worked in the Bahamas, all that kind of stuff, and we're moving back to Vermont. And, we don't look at it that way at all. We've been very fortunate to be able to do a lot of different things in life. And this is, that equates down to people's version of success, I guess. A lot of people equate success with how much money and things they have. And, as long as we make enough money, can survive, do what we want to do, we've pretty much lived that way. We've worked hard, we do what we want to do, how we want to do it, and pretty much do what we want, to a degree. I mean, it's not like, oh, let's fire up the jet and let's go to, Bali. But we've been able to do what we want. And to me, that's being successful, because we've had that ability to go places, do things, do different businesses, and you know, everybody has their own version of what success is going to be. But, you know, equating success with solely monetary things, items, or how much money you have in a bank account, to me, that doesn't make it. That's not to say I wouldn't love to have more money in the bank account, but that's not a limit of success. I mean, I know plenty of people who have plenty more money than me. And would I say they're successful? When I look at their whole lives, no. Would, you know, I don't know. You know, everybody has their own version of what success and happiness is. And for us, being able to come back here, you know, having the ability, we don't have to go to wherever. I don't want to say a name because then somebody will be offended. But we don't have to go to a place because, oh, we got to get a job over there. We'll work it out. We're used to doing that. And in the meantime, we'll be able to do things for the kids, do things for the grandparents, our parents. To me, that's more a indicator that you've been successful. You have the ability to have certain freedoms at certain times. Not all the time, but at certain times. So that freedom, to me, is a lot more success. Freedom, having to, you know, work with your family, spend time with your family, grandkids, all those kind of things. Yeah, as opposed to the guy who's got oodles and oodles, but he really doesn't give a crap about his family. That's low priority. So we're lucky in that, you know, regard, and I think that's ours. It's not everybody else's idea of success, but that's what, you know, I consider to be successful. Now, if anybody wants to throw in $1 million or $2 million on top of that, great. We could do more things. Here's just a little simple example. We built that sandbox, okay? It's basically 4 pieces of wood, some fabric underneath. Derek's going to get the sand. What did it cost us? Probably $125 for the sandbox. What's it going to bring? Countless hours over the years of happiness to a couple kids who will play at that and just be having a wonderful time. And whether they remember we did it or not, I don't really care. Just being able to see them having a good time, enjoying themselves outside, doing something other than, you know, staring at a screen, that's worth plenty.